Y&R Spoilers reveal that Phyllis Summers is challenging herself as she secretly steals Billy's confidential information. Their plan is challenging, every deep breath she takes as she prepares to enter the most important battle of her life. Everything changes after she discovers the plot that Billy Abbott and Sally Spectra have worked so hard to hide. Phyllis is not the type to let go of insults easily, and being betrayed is something she can never forgive. Burning anger drives her to take action, not only for herself but also for her pride. The plan of revenge begins. Phyllis does not simply want revenge, she wants to destroy everything Billy and Sally have built, making them pay dearly for their actions. She knows that a clever strategy is necessary, and she does not hesitate to seek out relationships that can help her carry out her plan. Her first job was to approach Victor Newman. Although they had long since lost touch, Phyllis knew that if she wanted to make a splash, Victor was the man to turn to. And since nothing could stop her, Phyllis quickly calculated an approach. She contacted Victor, but this time, she was not just an angry woman, but a potential partner, offering him valuable information that even Victor could not ignore. Victor Newman's ploy. Although they could not reach an immediate agreement at first, Victor could not ignore Phyllis's proposal. The information she provided not only related to Billy Abbott but also opened up new and fascinating relationships in the mysterious world of Aristotle Dumas. Phyllis knew that the details she had would stick with Victor, because anyone who confronted Victor had to have a powerful weapon. And that weapon was the secret information she had collected. Planning to approach Aristotle Dumas, however, Phyllis knew that a new relationship with Victor was not enough to achieve her goal. She had to work with Aristotle Dumas, who no one could get a hold of. People talked about Dumas as if he were a ghost in the underworld, someone who no one could reach, who always kept things under control and let no one find a loophole. Phyllis, however, was not one to give up easily. She knew that without new information to entice Dumas, she would not be able to approach him. But Phyllis was no ordinary person. She was very good at hacking systems, especially at getting information from other people's cell phones. She quickly realized that to approach Dumas, she needed specific information, so she decided to get into the phone of Billy Abbott, who she believed was related to Dumas. Phyllis pays the price for her decision, however. Accessing Billy's phone is not an action without consequences. Phyllis understands that things will get complicated if she is discovered. But the temptation of power and information makes her unable to stop. After accessing Billy's phone, Phyllis gathers enough information to approach Dumas and invite him to meet. But the bigger problem is that she needs to come up with a convincing reason for Dumas to listen to her. However, Phyllis made the mistake of underestimating Billy's ability and Dumas' vigilance. As soon as she started to provide information to Victor, she did not expect that this action would be a fatal blow. Betraying Billy and providing information about his conspiracies with Aristotle Dumas not only hurt Billy but also made her face unforeseen consequences. Victor Newman and his plan for revenge. Victor, a man who has become known for his cunning strategies, wastes no time. Armed with the information Phyllis provides, Victor immediately begins to plot his revenge. This is not just a fight against Billy Abbott. It is a strategic confrontation with the man Victor considers his greatest enemy in the world, Aristotle Dumas. Phyllis, having achieved her short-term goal of driving a wedge between Billy and Dumas, now faces consequences she never anticipated. She knows that helping Victor is not necessarily a safe choice, but in this world of betrayal and intrigue, she has no choice but to continue moving forward, knowing that the secrets she reveals could change everything. Phyllis's story has only just begun. While she plans to approach Dumas and deal with Victor, Billy and Sally are not easy to defeat. The situation will become more complicated, and the decisions Phyllis makes will lead to a series of inevitable events. Will she be able to hold her ground while facing old enemies and dangerous new partners? And in the end, can Phyllis really win this war, or will she pay a heavy price for what she has done? Phyllis Summers, a woman with fiery red hair and a fierce spirit, is about to enter a game of chess that only the ruthless have the courage to play. She has long known that survival in this world of intrigue and power requires constant risk and, at times, betrayal. And Phyllis, with her fiery temper and never one to shy away from pushing the envelope, has once again thrown herself into a life-or-death struggle where her every decision could change everything. But can she foresee the consequences? Phyllis angers Billy. Phyllis has never lacked courage in the face of a challenge. But when she decided to get involved in Billy Abbott's dark schemes, she wasn't just wading into dangerous waters, she was playing a giant firecracker. No one could have imagined that a calculating and intelligent woman like Phyllis could be behind the dark plots, not only betraying Billy but also putting him in unforeseen danger. But how could Phyllis easily access the information that Billy thought he had kept secret? Of course, no one could forget her special ability to hack into electronic systems, and this time, Phyllis exploited a very sophisticated vulnerability. She secretly hacked into Billy's phone, intercepting messages and calls that Billy could not have expected. A woman like Phyllis would never let a good opportunity pass, and she exploited information from the very people Billy thought would protect him. The information that Phyllis obtained was a combination of dark secrets and the ongoing plot between Billy and Aristotle Dumas. Not just business deals, but also plans to increase competition not only within the business world but also in the power struggle between Newman and Dumas. Phyllis knew that this information was not only valuable to her but could also change the course of the battle that Billy and Victor were engaged in. And, of course, she could not miss this opportunity. Information for Victor. Shortly after gathering enough information from Billy, Phyllis decided to take action. She contacted Victor Newman, one of the most powerful people in the business world and also a man capable of making decisive decisions. Although her relationship with Victor had not always been good, Phyllis knew that at this time, only Victor could make things more tense. And this was what Phyllis needed. By providing information to Victor, Phyllis not only wanted to get revenge on Billy, but also wanted to create chaos in the relationship that Billy and Dumas were building. With this information in hand, Victor immediately realized that he could use it to control the situation and make it even more difficult for Billy to maintain his position. In fact, Phyllis wanted not only to put Billy in a difficult position, but also to burn all the bridges he had built. Contacting Aristotle Dumas, however, confronting Billy Abbott was only part of Phyllis's plan. She did not stop at providing information to Victor, she also contacted Aristotle Dumas directly, the mysterious man that everyone considered difficult to approach. Dumas, with his charisma and underworld skills, was a danger that even smart people like Phyllis had to be wary of. But Phyllis is not one to be deterred. She knows that only a direct, bold, and unabashed approach can get Dumas' attention. And she does. Armed with the information she has gleaned from Billy, Phyllis approaches Dumas with an offer no one can refuse. Not only will she show him her power, but she will also expose Dumas to threats he never thought possible. Phyllis is playing with fire. Perhaps Phyllis does not fully realize the risks she is taking. While she is playing a dangerous double game, no one can predict whether she will be able to keep things under control until the end. She will not only be up against Billy, but also Victor and Aristotle Dumas, men who, if they discover she is betraying them, will not hesitate to take action. While Phyllis may seem to be playing the smart game, she is actually sinking deeper into a quagmire from which she cannot escape. Will Billy discover her betrayal and exact revenge? Or will she continue to climb the ladder of power, unstoppable? And will she finally escape the wrath of the men she is playing? Phyllis's power game has only just begun, and the fires she is fanning could burn everything down. This betrayal, which began with a backstabbing move, could prove irreparable. Phyllis Summers has never been one to be taken lightly, and in the boldest move of her career, she decides to go all in, taking on one of the most mysterious and powerful men in Genoa City's business world, Aristotle Dumas. A woman of strong spirit, Phyllis is always looking for a breakthrough in any situation. But this time, she is not only on the brink of a bold strategy, but also playing with fire. Her decision will not only change the game, but also put her in a position that even the bravest of men will have to be wary of. Phyllis hacks and gets information. It all starts when Phyllis decides to pick up information from Billy Abbott's phone, an act that only Phyllis can do with absolute confidence. She didn't just dig through Billy's texts and calls, she also tapped into Aristotle Dumas's direct contact information. If anyone thought Genoa City didn't have a security code, Phyllis was living proof. Everyone knew that Phyllis wasn't one to be ruled by anyone's rules or limits. And when she got hold of Dumas, whom most people thought was a shadowy figure in the world of business intrigue, she decided to contact him directly. While everyone was still wondering who Aristotle Dumas really was and what he was capable of, Phyllis, like an unquenchable flame, sent the first messages. She texted Dumas, or at least left a message for his assistant. It was a bold move by Phyllis, like a shark diving into dangerous waters without knowing what would happen next. The risk of playing with fire. The redhead had staked everything on this game, but no one could have predicted the outcome. Was Phyllis setting herself up for a trap that Dumas would easily fall into? Or did she have some secret plan that we could not yet see? One thing was certain, when these big explosions finally died down, someone would pay the price. For Phyllis, everything she did had a purpose, but this time, she was really stepping into the territory of someone that even Victor Newman, the most powerful man in town, was wary of. Dumas, an enigmatic figure, would probably not forgive those who invaded his world easily. And Phyllis, with all her boldness and confidence, could be Dumas' next target if he feels threatened. But as everyone knows, Phyllis always has hidden cards up her sleeve. She never acts without careful preparation, and this is what makes the battle between her and Dumas so fascinating and dangerous. The game of power, Phyllis and Dumas. Phyllis, in her scheming efforts, is not just a rival to Billy Abbott, the man she once loved. She has targeted Dumas as a pawn in a game of intrigue, where every decision can change the outcome. She has obtained the necessary information from Billy, whom she believes is cheating on her, and used that information to contact Dumas. Yes, contacting Dumas can be considered Phyllis's final move to turn Billy's plot into ashes. We all know that Dumas is not someone to be trifled with. He is a powerful figure, and getting in his sights is not a smart move. But Phyllis has always known how to turn risk into opportunity. While everyone around her believes she is putting herself in danger, Phyllis seems to have another agenda. She may be able to convince Dumas that she can become a valuable ally, a strategic partner who can help him dominate the market. Unforeseeable ending. While we don't know who Dumas really is and what his next moves will be, one thing is certain, Phyllis will not go unpunished. Genoa City will not be able to keep quiet about these intrigues for long. And when the dust settles, the players in this game will have to face the inevitable consequences. While Phyllis may seem to have everything under control, she may be the one facing the storms she has stirred up. Her relationships with Billy, her relationships with Dumas, her relationships with Victor will all become lessons in power and betrayal. Next Wednesday's episode promises to be a high point in the drama. With all the intrigue going on, Phyllis will face tough choices, and no one knows where she'll end up in this power game. One thing's for sure, Genoa City will not be safe after Phyllis's explosion. And when it's all over, none of the power players will be left unscathed. Phyllis Summers has always been a woman who knows how to attract attention and make people fear her, but this time, she has crossed all limits. After a series of intrigues and conflicts, Phyllis decides to take matters into her own hands. And in what can be considered the most daring move of her career, she decides to directly contact Aristotle Dumas, the mysterious and powerful man behind the complex plots that she cannot leave alone. Phyllis has obtained Dumas' contact information from Billy Abbott's phone. An action that can be called silly from a security perspective, but for Phyllis, anything is possible. When everyone in Genoa City does not even pay attention to protecting personal information, Phyllis points out that she can penetrate everything that Billy considers confidential. She got this information without any trouble, and quickly texted Dumas or left a message for his assistant. A risky move. Phyllis wasn't simply trying to communicate with a potential partner or approach Dumas for business reasons. She was playing a dangerous game, and this time it would involve not only Billy Abbott but others as well. Her decision to contact Dumas directly might be a strategic move, but it could also be a foolish move that would cost her dearly. Billy would certainly not let this go. Phyllis knew that when Billy found out what she had done, he would not be able to keep his cool. Billy's anger would be something Phyllis could not have foreseen. Her relationships with Billy were too complicated and broken to repair. And when he learns that she has taken information from his phone, the only thing he can do is fly into a rage. An angry slap will be an inevitable part of his response. Phyllis will have to face Billy's hatred, something she has never feared, but this time, it could lead to unforeseen consequences. Aristotle Dumas, the enigma. Although no one really knows Dumas, Phyllis seems to be venturing into uncharted territory. Dumas is a mysterious figure in Genoa City, whose true motives are unknown, or what abilities he possesses. He is the mastermind behind many of the underworld's deals, a ghost in the business world, and if Phyllis thinks she can use him for her own purposes, she is playing with fire. Those who are caught in Dumas' crosshairs are never safe from dire consequences. Phyllis, while smart and cunning, seems to be making a grave mistake by approaching Dumas without knowing who he really is. Is she creating a threat for herself by contacting Dumas, or does she have some other strategic plan that we have yet to discover? One thing is for sure, when she crosses paths with Dumas, things may not be the same again. She may become the target of someone even the powerful Victor Newman must be wary of. Phyllis is putting herself in danger. The entire city of Genoa is watching Phyllis's every move. She is someone who will do anything to achieve her goals, but this time, she is walking down a path that even the most resilient people would not dare to tread. Getting caught in Dumas' crosshairs may be the biggest mistake of her life. Dumas is not a forgiving person, and if he feels threatened, Phyllis may pay a heavy price. With so many conspiracies going on around her, Phyllis cannot avoid the serious consequences of her actions. She has put herself in a situation of no return by deciding to contact Dumas. Will Phyllis be able to escape Dumas' revenge? Or will she have to pay for what she has done? The battle for power heats up. Phyllis has unleashed a war that no one in Genoa City can predict the outcome of. Dumas, with his shadowy powers, is not one to be trifled with. And if Phyllis thinks she has everything under control, she has misjudged her opponent. The machinations Phyllis has created could lead her into a life-or-death struggle where there is no safety net to rely on. With the stakes high and the power struggles unfolding, we can only wait to see if Phyllis can maintain her advantage in this war, or if she will become a discarded pawn in this dangerous game played by Dumas and Billy. One thing is for sure, this war is not over, and when the dust settles, someone will suffer the consequences. The impending explosion. Wednesday's episode promises to be the culmination of this story, as things come to a head. Phyllis has thrown herself into a game whose outcome no one can predict. Genoa City is at a crossroads, and no one knows who will be the last one standing in this power struggle. With conspiracies intertwined and relationships strained, Phyllis will face the toughest decisions of her life. And when everything falls apart, there's only one big question: who will pay the price? Subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with the latest news.